In conversation with Sanzia Nogar, who happens to be a very popular health coach and sports nutritionist based out of Goa.
You're not gonna just pick up a weight and put on muscle. I mean, if that did happen, that'd be amazing. but but it doesn't happen.
Thick thighs save lives. For women shouldn't strength train and just do cardio.
Cardio is great for your heart health. Yes, maybe it may make your muscles more endurant and all of that, but you can't just do cardio.
How would you guide a woman into training around her menstrual cycle? What are some of the hardships that female fitness trainers would face getting into a male dominant job as assumed? Would you take on a male client, and if you did take on a male client, what would be different from training a female client?
I have trained male clients. I feel like the only difference is I need to up the intensity a little bit. But then again, I also have a few male clients that also prefer or would like to be trained by females.
Does cardio make you flat chested?
Yeah, I get why people would think that because it is mostly fat.
How does a woman go about getting into a fitness space when she at the back of mind has been physically shamed? In conversation with Sanzia Nogar, who happens to be a very popular health coach and sports nutritionist based out of Goa. We've known each other since high school, but she's really grown and grasped the idea of fitness and wellness in her field. But today the agenda is slightly different. Today I wanted to initiate this talk to get a sense of perspective. Generally, when training the female client, there are certain parameters that we as male coaches don't tend to see or understand. So today we want to see what the perspective is from the other side. Sanzia, welcome. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Thank you so much. I think he already gave quite a good introduction, but again, I'm Sanzia Nogar. I'm a fitness trainer and nutritionist. I've branched into this field from hospitality, but I'm really glad I got into this because this is something I really love doing, and yeah, can get started maybe.
Super. So we're just gonna go question by question, and you can feel free to answer as candid as you can. Base the answers completely off what your approach has been with female clients and what you as a female trainee would expect or assure your clients who are females to do. All right, so what drives you as a coach and what made you choose the job of being a wellness professional?
So I've actually wanted to do this for a really long time, since before I did hospitality, but someone guided me a little incorrectly, and that made me get into hospitality instead of doing nutrition. But also I was always involved in sports. I used to play tennis and I was into athletics as well. And then I had an opening, I think, during the pandemic, and I didn't want to waste time, so I was like, I'll just do a course now. And I think I think the pandemic was really useful to me, and it helped me a lot because I managed to get to doing this since I couldn't earlier. Yeah.
So fitness was something that always revolved around your family or something that you always did growing up. It came naturally to you.
Yep.
It wasn't something you had to force yourself to get
No,
into.
all of us, all four of us, I have three brothers, and so all four of us have always been playing all sorts of sports. They are involved in so many more. But even my parents, actually, they've also always been playing some sport or the other. So yeah, I think it's
So it was a natural process getting into it. It was a comfort zone when you found fitness.
Yeah. I was really happy when I figured I could get into this without, even though I didn't get to do a degree earlier. I'm really glad I managed to get things done now. So that's great.
Super. When you first started at the gym, what were your fears getting into the fitness space?
I think like most females, before I studied anything about it, I also had. So I used to play sports, so I knew that wouldn't like make you bulk or anything, the way most females think now. But I think that was one of my issues. But also I always felt like maybe I wouldn't be able to accomplish certain things that I would want to, and I'm quite goal driven, so I feel like I need to get things done, and so I think that was what bothered me the most when I first got into the gym.
So it was a personal choice based upon talent that you already felt you had that you could maximize.
Yeah. Yes.
You come from a family of very genetically blessed fitness enthusiasts. As you said, you have three brothers who are also excelling in fitness. Even though they don't, not all of them choose to work in the fitness background, they are very genetically blessed. And as you said, sports has always been an integral part of your family. So how much did genetics help you in your journey, or how much do you attribute where you are currently in fitness towards your genetics?
Um, so I would say um, it has helped quite a bit, especially from like the outward appreciation that we get. Because honestly, even if we did not exercise, we always had our physique looking like we did, thankfully. But I also feel like that pushed us a little bit more, because when everyone puts you up on a pedestal, like, oh, you look so fit and you can do all of these things, then at least for me, I feel like I need to work towards doing something. I don't want to have people having an impression and me not being able to do certain
Of
things. So
course.
it sort of pushes me as well
I also think
to
that
do.
people have the habit of using genetics as an
Yeah.
excuse to not to substitute your hard work.
Yes.
And they
Yes.
feel that okay, this person has just been given everything in
Yep.
their lap.
Yeah, so that's
Is
another
that
thing that
something
we
that
get a
you
lot.
faced
We
when
get
you
a lot.
started?
Yeah, they're like, oh yeah, you have your physique is because of your genetics and you don't do anything apart from it. But we're like, no, we've played sports like since we were 4, 5 years old, and we've been playing it for like we've always been active. So I think that's just an add-on, a
Super.
bonus, I would say.
So most women and men, when they join the gym, they've been pushed because of certain restrictions that they may have had, maybe physically, such as body shaming, or emotionally, wherein they've gone through a certain instance in their life that they don't have a therapeutic distraction, so they choose the gym. When you work with your clients, do you feel that they come in from backgrounds such as like physical shaming or emotional issues that may have stemmed them to actually get into the gym?
Um, I do actually. I have had a few that have wanted to get into shape just because they've been body shamed. But I think I have more. I have a few more people that I train that train because it's a stress buster, and also because they just want to get into a better routine and just be healthier, because there are quite a few that have been diagnosed with a few things that are,
Health concerns for
yeah,
them, right?
that have a lot of that are concerning. So that is mostly why I have, well, most of my clients, that's the reason why they've started.
With women in fitness in general, is body shaming a real thing? And
Yes.
how
Yes,
does
of course.
how does a woman go about getting around body shaming and getting through her workouts and even entering the gym space without having the back of her mind that okay, somebody's going to physically body shame me, or that the mirror is not my best friend?
Um, I, I, I honestly, I wouldn't know how to answer that very well, because I have not experienced it and I probably don't know what they must be feeling. But I mean, hats off to those who have, because it must be really difficult to come from a place of where your self worth isn't the best, but you're still making an effort uh, to to get into a routine and work on yourself. So I think it's just that they've gotten to a routine and they've managed to stick to it. So I'm not really sure how they've done it, but yeah.
No, because I've worked with a couple of clients that have come to me with body shaming issues when you feel that all they want is a fat loss plan, but once you
Yeah.
actually go through the analysis of what they've gone through, they've been so scarred by people
Yeah.
abusing them verbally
Yeah.
in terms of, you're not good enough to be in that space.
Yeah.
And they kind of create an inferiority complex with that woman, which is why she's actually coming into the gym to kind of
Yeah.
feel secure again, which is so tough when you've been shamed, because
Yep.
everyone here has this idea that
Yeah.
the perfect body exists,
Yep.
and that is such an insecurity for people that want to do better but are
Yeah.
insecure about even getting into that
Yeah.
space.
No, it's true. I mean, I've met a few people that, so they will not go to a gym. Like even now, they will not enter a gym and they will not train by themselves because
Insecurity.
insecurity. So they'd rather just get personal train on the side where they're not in front of like 100 people and they don't have to face any of that.
So that the space does not
They're much more
intimidate them.
comfortable just being just the two of us, and I think that's
Right.
something that would be nice if everyone else could maybe stop doing that and making people feel uncomfortable, because sometimes it's not a person's lifestyle that has made them obese or whatever. Sometimes it's also I mean, I get that you get there after a certain point, but it's not always a person's fault. So I feel like you
Right.
can,
Sometimes there are deeper
Yeah.
issues which are not
Yeah.
addressed.
yeah.
Deep down, do most women have a competitive nature when they lift? And what are your thoughts?
I think it differs from person to person. I think I have my my days. I have a few days where I am a little competitive and I feel like I need to push myself a little more. But yeah, I feel like you should just maybe listen to your body and don't exert yourself is what I would say. But yeah, there are a lot of people that are really competitive. I know a lot of people that are really competitive. So
Looping
yeah.
around that, are there pros and cons to it? Because for someone that is competitive, you could use the competitiveness to kind of facet a lot of pride into the fact that, you know what, I'm going to give my best today, but you could also use that competitiveness to kind of get ahead of yourself and possibly injure yourself at times, or get to that point where you kind of create a superiority complex for yourself that inhibits the growth of
Yeah.
your empathy towards having other people grow with you.
Yeah, so I think there are a lot of pros and cons. Like I said, a lot of people tend to push themselves quite a bit, and there are people that have gotten hurt because or gotten injured because of the exact same thing. But then, if you use it to your advantage, you could just maybe be a little smarter, and I don't know, and just use it to your benefit and try getting better at what you do instead of, you know.
Now, as a female coach, okay, there are a lot of intimidations that come in society with trying to take on a role that is generally or primarily categorized as a male person's job. So, what is the scope of female fitness trainers in Goa and India in general, and what are some of the hardships that female fitness trainers would face getting into a male dominant job as assumed?
So yeah, I feel like it is a little more difficult for females to get into this space, especially when it comes to strength training and things. Sports maybe not, but um, one, because a lot of people, I mean males especially, would mostly prefer training with a male because he's possibly stronger and and like you said, it's a male dominated industry. So that is one. But I also feel like it's a booming industry because for females, because like I personally know a lot of females that are uncomfortable training with males and they want only females to train them. Like even in the gym, we have a lot of the flow trainers that come to me and they're like, you want to join the gym, like train at the gym, because a lot of females are they want a female trainer because they're not super comfortable being
They can
trained
be
by men.
better versions of themselves
Yeah,
around a
and just
female.
more comfortable in general, because I feel like females go through so many more things in their day-to-day life which maybe males don't go through, and so it's a booming industry for females basically.
Do you think that that would change over a period of time?
It could, but also, yeah, I mean, it could change, but
It's a tough
it's a
call.
tough, yeah.
Because these
Can't
days, I
really
mean,
say.
there are so many insecurities that
Yeah.
women face with men outside the gym
Yeah.
that kind of leads them
Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
not want to take a personal trainer who's a man,
Yep.
and vice versa.
I mean, I've had a few people like that though, that have been training with a male and then they've dropped the male and they're like, no, I'm going to train with a female now because they've had inappropriate situations, uncomfortable situations. So now they're just like, I'm going to stick to a
So, in
female
general
trainer.
circumstances right now, you would
Yeah.
vouch to say that a female would train better or be more comfortable training with a female, and a male would vice versa.
Depends on the person again, but yeah,
But for
largely,
the large majority,
yes.
I think that's a very important factor, because many people have the doubt as to why is a female coach not good enough to train a male, and what they don't understand is there are certain factors that are predispositioned that make a male choose a male trainer or a female
Yeah.
choose a female trainer. So
Yep.
awesome. So this is a train from the last question, but would you take on a male client? And if you did take on a male client, what would be a route that you take to train a male client that's different from training a female client?
I have trained male clients. I feel like the only difference is I need to up the intensity a little bit more for some of them. But then again, I also have a few male clients that also prefer or would like to be trained by females because, I mean, there are some males that are more sensitive and a little more, I don't know, I don't know what term to use, but a little softer, and they would prefer someone who works with them similarly. So depends on what the client wants really.
So basic
Yeah.
differences would be intensity.
Yep.
Their capability and their motivation levels to push harder would do
Yep.
they differ?
Yes, of course they do. So it sort of gets into the next, gets into another huge topic Because males, I think they have like a 24-hour cycle, wherein females have like this whole month, and the whole month is split into 4 phases. So in those 4 phases, you need to, I mean, that again depends on each female, because each of them function differently, but
Right.
largely females have like 4 cycles during the month, and you need to be a little sensitive
The
during
training
that time.
intensities differ.
Yeah.
I'm sure we're
Yeah.
going to get into that in a bit.
Yeah.
Awesome. How do you motivate your clients to not get them to skip workouts or be consistent in the gym?
I just try explaining to them that this hour that we train is like a time, is like this hour is basically time for you to capitalize on. And I mean, I'm glad that most of them understand that it's going to help them in the long run. And even if you don't train with me, at least on that day, just go do something. Like even if you do skip a workout with me, just like go and do something.
I think
and
that's great. At least the
yeah,
goal
yeah,
is to get activity in,
yeah.
irrespective.
Basically, just move, and it's okay. Like you take a break if you really need it, but just move is what I say.
I think that's a great message, because many a time we feel that we're limited to a facility in terms of getting
Yeah.
in a workout, but it's just move, get something.
Yeah,
even
just
even
get
if you go for a
something
walk,
in. Yep.
get something in. You know,
Yeah.
it is doing better for your
Yep.
healthcare.
Like do a few squats or a few push-ups if you want.
Starts off
but
small.
just do something. It's fine.
But
So,
that's
yeah.
great, because that's how many people started. They start off with
Yep.
insecurity about doing small movements, and then before you know it, they fall in
Yeah.
love with the process.
Yeah.
It's all about that nudge.
Yep.
And I think as a coach, that's a great deal of responsibility that I
Yeah.
mean, I wouldn't say obligation, but we have the privilege of putting clients into that headspace that, it starts off as a small journey.
Yeah.
It's not a sprint from the get-go, but it adds up to
Yep.
a bigger picture.
It's true.
That's great. So, on your toughest days, when you've had like a really tough day at work, and I know that people think that coaches don't have tough days, but
Yeah.
like any other working professional, coaches do.
Yeah.
What's that one thing that you're telling yourself to wire yourself in to get to that gym and get the workout in? Because I feel a lot of people procrastinate over getting a workout in, and they need that one cue
Yep.
that makes them, you know what, I'm not going to give up. I will go to the gym. So, what's that for Sanzia Nogar?
So for me, like I said, what I do with my clients as well, I'm like, this is that part of the day where you get to capitalize and you get to use this time for a better future, I would say. But I mean, I also do have days where I'm like, I don't think I'm going to wake up in the morning if I do have a morning free. So on those days, I try getting someone to call me up, like my brother, or I'll get someone to just, even though I have my alarm on and I know I might put it on snooze, I ask someone to just call me up, because when I get a call, I'm like, okay, fine, I'm up now, and then I go. But also, I feel like going to the gym for me is, it's a huge stress buster. Like there are days where I'm maybe really annoyed at something or whatever, but I feel I go to the gym and it's amazing. It's an amazing stress buster. So I feel like for me it's also just to get some movement in, basically. Even if I don't get in like a whole workout, for me it's just to move, and
Something
cool.
that you said spurred a thought pattern for me, which is having your brothers call you. And I think one thing that is very underestimated is that people feel that coaches don't need accountability. At the highest
Yeah.
level of professional competitions, even your best athletes
Yeah.
or your coaches also have coaches.
Yep.
And I feel that accountability is a very key measure. So even if you can't depend on yourself to be the best version,
Yeah.
you can always have someone else do it for you. And I think
It's
that's
true.
the misconception that a lot of people have towards coaches, that just because they're coaches, they don't need
don't
accountability,
need
because
it,
they
yeah.
do it for others.
Yep.
And
It's
the
true.
broad message is everyone needs accountability, even if you're a coach. So, okay, girl gang advice. 3 things you're going to say to all the girls who currently are exercising or have a routine. What's 3 things you want to say to kind of motivate them or make them get to their destination faster, or something that can help them that you possibly didn't know when you started your journey?
One thing I would say is be patient. Like it takes time.
Awesome.
Like you really need to give whatever you're doing some amount of time. A lot of people expect quick results, and you're not going to see it in like a week or
Right.
2 weeks. You need to give it like a good amount of time to see any goal that you're trying to achieve. Don't take rest for granted. Like you need your sleep. You
That's a
need
great
days
point.
where you
That's a great
just
point.
don't do anything if you need to. I mean, maybe walk a little bit, but just take a break if you really need it. Listen to your body is what I would say.
That's a beautiful
Yep.
point. So, Diet is a major factor for women when exercising. Do men and women need to diet differently, or as a sports nutritionist, what do you feel are differentiations in nutritional value for women for consumption of certain foods?
So for males and females, I feel like the okay, when we're talking about strength training or exercising in general, I feel like the macros proportions are sort of similar, but I feel like males need a much larger quantity, obviously, because males do need.
The
Sorry, I
energy
got lost
expenditure,
a
the
little
energy
bit.
expenditure is
Yeah,
higher.
energy expenditure in males is higher, and just for their maintenance in general, they do need a lot more intake in general.
Right.
But also, I feel like females have a lot of, so they are hormone driven, like very hormone driven, and so I feel like they need to focus a little more on foods that promote their hormonal well-being,
Good point.
uh,
Nice.
which is mostly like fat-based foods, like good fat-based foods, is important to incorporate in a female's diet,
Okay.
is what I would say.
So the menstrual cycle is a very factoring concern for women when they train because, as you said, you have
Yeah.
your month divided into 4 phases.
Yeah.
So how would you guide a woman into training around her menstrual cycle, or how do you train? How do you guide your female clients to train around your menstrual cycle?
Um, so there are 4 phases. There's the menstrual, the follicular, the ovulation phase, and the luteal phase. So the menstrual phase is basically when you are bleeding, basically. And so for some people, for some females, the first 1-2 days is really hectic, and their mood is all over the place, and their energy levels are like down and things. And I would say on those days, take it easy. If you don't want to do anything, that's cool. um, During the second and third phases is when your energy levels are, at least for me, it's really high, and I know during those 2 phases I'm going to push myself as much as I can.
Right.
And then there's the last phase where again things are slowing down because you're going to get back into your menstruation phase. So, so again, you slow it down a little bit, do slightly less intensive exercises, um, focus on your stretches a little more because your body tends to get really tight, especially when you're back into your menstrual phase and you're done with that. Actually, you get your body is just like a little stiff. At least for some people, that's how it works. So I would say in the first phase, take it easy if you need to. But when you actually just listen to your body, when you feel like you can push, go for it. And when you feel like you need a break, just take the break. So
Excellent.
that's what I would say.
So, as of late in India, especially, and while working in my clients as well, I've seen this trajectory of a growth of PCOS and PCOD with female clients. Generally, when you attribute PCOS or PCOD, you kind of correlate them to lifestyle factors that have gone off. So, when you work with a client that has PCOD or PCOS, what do you generally, does their exercise routine change? Does their nutrition requirements change? Or are there certain hidden keys to training a client with PCOS or PCOD?
So with them, I would honestly focus more on their diet because it is more of what you put into your body. And I feel like nutrition is exercising is really important, but nutrition is like it plays a huge role in your health in general, your health and your hormonal well-being as well, and your recovery and everything. Your diet plays like a huge role.
It can control the fluctuations.
Yes, it can.
Okay.
So I'm not entirely sure whether PCOD or PCOS can be cured, but I do know you can control the symptoms. But yeah, so for clients that do have PCOD or PCOS, what I do is I help them out with their diet a little more. And I try to control all of that because firstly, people get a lot of cravings, which then there's a whole ripple effect because of just cravings, which is such a small thing. All of us do get cravings, but they get it a little more, is what I think. And just if you just help them with that first, you can sort out a lot of other stuff. So I feel like mostly diet needs to be focused on.
So during that PCOS or PCOD heights, you can expect like a domino effect that comes in from cravings that can affect other areas, including their workouts as well.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. Because so it differs from person to person, but so all of us do get cravings. I have a major sweet tooth. But for people with PCOD or PCOS, or even for people in general, when you if you crave something sweet, for example, you could get like an insulin spike, which is then going to drop, and then that's going to mess with your energy levels, let's say when you're going to go for a workout. So I feel like if you just play around with those things and you work on all of that, you can fix, you can improve your, you can maximize your benefits with training as well. So
Okay, so it has a lot to do with
yes.
your nutrition. Okay, so let's go through a few myths that surround women in fitness, and I'd like to dispel them and get your thoughts on them too. So myth number one is women that lift heavy weights become bigger, and this is something that we've all heard growing up. So, of course, I believe it to be completely false because women have different hormonal fluctuations as compared to males.
Yeah.
But if you deal with clients, I'm sure you do deal with clients that come to you with this problem. How do you dispel the myth?
So firstly, I tell them that you're not going to just pick up a weight and put on muscle. I mean, if that did happen, that'd be amazing. but it doesn't happen so easily. So firstly, that's not going to happen anytime soon. It's going to take a really long time. That's if you're really consistent. Two, it's also a lot to do with your food, and also the way you train, like rep ranges and all of that stuff as well.
Absolutely.
But also I try. So a lot of females are against having muscle, and for me, I try basically just telling them, I'm trying to get them to the stage where, at least a few of them, to the stage where trying to get them to understand that if you do have muscle, it's not a bad thing. It's actually amazing.
Yes.
Because as you grow
100%.
older, you don't want help, lifting a bag or walking up the stairs and
Exactly.
things like that. It's not just about looking good, but it's also longevity. Like it's just
That's a great point.
future-proofing your,
That's good. I really,
ensuring yourself,
yeah, I
basically.
really like that word, future-proofing, because that
Yeah.
is, in hindsight, that's all we look at as exercise is just to
Basically,
build
yeah.
muscle or lose fat, but nobody looks at the longevity of it. And that's a great example.
So you see so many people now that can't, like elderly people, they can't do anything by themselves.
Right.
And at least for me, I really hope that, I don't want that to be happening. And that for me, when I meet any of my clients, that's the first thing I explain to them. Or in the first few phases, that's what I'm telling them. I'm like, you need to look at this from that point where it's not about just losing weight and slimming down your belly or your thighs, because
Sure.
you can't spot reduce firstly.
Yep.
But yeah, it's just about longevity. So
Thick thighs save lives. Why do women always have that idea that to train holistically, even the upper body is wrong, but I just want to train my legs because that's limited to what a woman should look like?
yeah, no, I'm not for that at all. I mean, it's great training your legs. It has some of the largest muscle groups, which is what I'm looking at it from. But you really need to train your upper body. Like you cannot just train your glutes and your quads or whatever and expect to, I don't know, live a healthy life. You need to work on everything else as well. Yeah.
Myth 3. Women have the same hip density as men, and which is why they are more mobile, or they can stretch out wider, they have more flexibility.
So I'm not, and
Firstly, is this a myth? Because
I honestly
I
am
read
not
this as a
very-
myth, but from what I see, it actually seems true because I cannot do a split myself.
No,
and
but-
it seems really easy when a woman does it.
No, but
Wait a
honestly,
second.
I can't do a split completely. I'm still working on, but I know some males actually who can do it really, like they'll just drop into a split. And I'm like, I don't know how you do that. But again, I feel like it's just different. I'm honestly not very sure about this one. I feel like it depends on, it differs from person to person.
So I think the
So I'm
idea
not-
actually came in wherein the elasticity of a woman's hips are more and they're broader because of childbirth, which is why
Yeah.
it becomes easier for them
Yeah.
to perform any lower body movement or even stretch for that matter.
Yep.
So I think that's where it came in. But I think there is literature to come out right now that yes, their hips are broader and yes, they are more elastic. But I think in terms of flexibility, it's just a matter of
Yeah, it's
stretching
just-
and mobility.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. Myth 4. Women shouldn't strength train and just do cardio.
No, this is basically what I was explaining before. You can't just do cardio. You need to. So according to me, I feel like cardio is great for your heart health. I may be wrong, but I feel like cardio is more like when it comes to your muscles at least. Yes, maybe it may make your muscles more endurant and all of that, but I am not entirely sure whether it is, like I said, whether it's going to support my point of longevity and muscle growth and all of that stuff. But it's great to do cardio, but I would say do strength training and do cardio on the side as well.
Right.
Unless your goal is like to run a marathon or something, then you can go on that.
Also at a hormonal level, I think as estrogen levels plummet, you also have a lot of muscle mass that gets depleted in women over a period of time.
Yeah.
Because their estrogen cycles are much more than what men have to be concerned about.
Yes.
So that is something that when women get into just cardio, their research has shown that they have a lot of injuries that occur and pop up because of lack of strength in their joints and ligaments.
So in general, females are more likely to, not more likely to, like men have a higher muscle mass in general. So I feel like because of that, females do need to focus more on strength training.
Great point.
Yep.
Because their bone density
Yeah.
genetically is
Yeah,
lesser.
it's a little,
It's
their
in their
muscle mass
frame.
in general is a little lesser than males.
Right.
So
I mean, those are physiological changes
Yeah.
that you can't really help, but the one way to prevent them is to get into a strength training
Yep.
routine. That's great. Myth 5. Women need to train differently than men.
No, I don't think so. Again, though, maybe you'd have to, if you feel like it. Again, this whole the cycle syncing doesn't apply to everyone. It's just with, it just is basically based on how you feel. So if you feel like you need to tone it down on a few days, you can do that. But if you feel great on all days, go for it.
Yeah, I think the one takeaway from this is that, women have to be very, pay attention to the
Yeah.
cycle and train around that to optimize
Yeah.
their
You
performance.
just really need to listen to what your body needs and what you feel, and I think everything would go well if you just did that. So
Myth 6. Being muscular makes a woman look ugly.
I don't think so.
I think this is so far from the truth.
Yeah,
I can't even see
yeah.
it. It's that far. Because I think being toned or looking even muscular is very attractive on a woman because
Yeah.
they have the wrong. The misconception comes from when they look at female professionals that compete at a very high level that need to take either performance enhancing drugs or diet in a certain way to gather that kind of size.
Yeah.
And a general woman that gets into a fitness routine looks at that kind of a figure and assumes that when they pick up a weight, as you
They're
said, they're
going to
going
end
to
up
turn into
looking
that.
like that. Yeah.
So I think
true.
the bad misconception is that I shouldn't put on muscle, but rather just try and keep my body toned. And the word toned, again, surrounds itself with so many misconceptions because how are you even going to get toned if your muscle doesn't have shape?
Yeah, exactly.
So women,
true.
don't run away from strength training. Train as much as you can because you will look attractive, and you do look attractive when you strength train, you look muscular. And the last myth is, does cardio make you flat chested? And this is something that has been raging on a lot of platforms.
Okay, I get why people would think that because it is mostly fat. A very small portion of it is like muscle. So when you strength train, you're toning that little bit of, that little part of muscle that you have, and it ends up looking a little, it's
Firmer.
toned.
Right,
So,
right,
so it looks a
right.
little firmer, which in general would seem like it's flatter. But it's as good as training like the rest of your body, and the whole process of losing fat, where if you lose fat on your legs, it's the same thing. You're going to lose fat like all over your body. So,
Right.
So, but cardio does not make you flat chested. It does not. It's very.
It's a myth.
It depends on your food and like everything that you do. So, yeah.
Sanzia, that's the end of our talk. But just before we call it close, I would like to ask you to please deliver a final message to all the female lifters out there. And it can be anything that you feel they need to know when they get into the fitness space.
Look after your health. Be cautious about what you put into your body. And make sure you give strength training enough importance, and know it is not going to make you look like a man unless you really work towards it. But it's just going to help you for the future, and I feel like if you help yourself now, it's just going to help you later. So that's all.
Super. All right. Thank you, Sanzia. That was our brief talk,
Thank you.
but it was great having you. I think we covered a lot of topics on training around the menstrual cycle, PCOD,
Yep.
containing lifestyle disease within a program, and how it's very important for a fitness coach to address certain minor things that also have major outcomes when creating programs and bringing a woman to her best performance in and outside of the gym. Thank you so much. It was a
Thank you
pleasure.
for having me.